Okay, thought this would be the easiest way to do this. Going to go over three things: cleaning mistake, how to correct that mistakes when your ball valve is leaking on the toilet, and then I'm going to just replace the toilet, and I'll go over that with you too as we get into it. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to replace this Dometic toilet, but I wanted to show you the cleaning mistake first. And this is easy to do. Not anybody's fault. I would have done the same thing. So when you're cleaning the toilet, on the inside you've got the ball valve right here. If you're cleaning this, you'll notice it will press down a little bit. Very little, but it will. And if you're trying to clean out these edges along here and in the back along this so that it seals correctly, or just cleaning it in general, if you push down too hard on this, it will come out. There's some little clips on the side of this ball valve that snap down into a little, just a little U-joint, and it snaps down in there. It's actually the other way around, this way. And if you push down too hard, it will come out of that. The real easy fix on that, and the way you're going to know it's doing it, by the way, is it's not sealing completely, is just to put your hand back on the inside and then lift up. Just pull towards you and you'll feel it click, and it'll click in place, and then it should be working just fine. That happened to us. Wasn't real sure what it was, but that solved the problem. Then when the valve went back and forth, it closed completely. And a little while later on, it started leaking back here. It wasn't sealing completely right. So I bought a new gasket, and that gasket is very easy to replace. There's videos on TV, or on YouTube about that, and basically this just comes out and you put on a new one. It actually didn't need this, because that turns out I had a different issue with it. I think the old one would have been fine, but that was just part of the problem. Now, what you should do when you replace that gasket is get you some silicone grease. Now, this is just a very small container, and it's enough to last me for years and years. You can buy bigger ones, and I don't know why, unless you use it in other applications, but it's just a small one from Ace. And if you grease the bottom of that ring after you put it in, you'll find it will close very easily after that. So I'm going to keep that gasket because it's fairly new, and I'll just save it just in case. So to take out the Dometic toilet, it's very simple steps. We're just going to take loose the water pipe coming in here. I'm going to keep this valve as a backup in case my new one ever breaks that comes with the unit. And then there are there's one on this side, 2 bolts holding it down just like a stool at home, holding it to the floor. I think you can just see the other one right there. And then this whole unit will lift out. So, in theory, this should be very simple. Let's see how that theory works. I did want to point out one thing. These clamps back there in the back, that one right there, that's a PEX clamp, and they're ridiculous, but so I'm not going to use that. We replaced this valve, so you'll notice when we put it back in, we used a regular hose clamp. So to get this off, you can't undo this, so I'm just going to take it off up here, snap this unit out, and then I'll cut that PEX clamp off and put on another one on here. Actually probably won't, yeah, because you can't turn this stupid thing with that hose attached. So we're just gonna take this out. There's a snap where you press down and on the bottom, and this whole valve will pop out. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go back with these clamps right here. Wanted to mention there's a little set screw right there in the back of this valve. You need to take that little screw out. It's a flathead, and I'm not real sure of the size. Now I'm having to use a short flat blade screwdriver to pull this out so I can take this whole unit out. Did want to point that out. So take that off before you try sliding out your valve. We're gonna, once you got the end caps off your, the little cover caps off your toilet, we're gonna take those two holding screws, one on each side, and we're gonna use a 7/16 inch, focus, 7/16, seems to fit in there very nicely. So let's just see if we can get that off. Alrighty, I got the two side screws out. 7/16 open end works great. If you've got a deep socket and you can work it in there, that'll go a lot faster, of course. So this should just lift right out. And there we go. I'll get this thing up. There we go. Cool. Okay. That's why I have a rag. So we got a rope. And what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and this, all this seems fine. We'll get her cleaned up a little bit in here, and then these will slide out. We'll put in new ones that came with the package, and turn those sideways like that. We'll mount it back on top. This is very much intact, no problem there. And clean up a little around here, and then we'll go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna pull that. Oh, let's see, this valve should come right out. Yeah. So I'm going to keep this one as a backup. One of the little clips broke, but in an emergency, this one is okay. I had to replace it once. The other one froze, and I'll put a video to that. It froze down in the little valve in here, so I'll put a video of that. So clean this up a little bit, get her nice and toasty, and we'll put the new one on. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to take that set screw out now. It took me longer to get back in there with the right size screwdriver, and I think that's a 1/4 inch little threaded screw that goes in there. My 1/4 inch bit fit, but I can't get back there with the right adapter, so I'm going to take it out because there's no way this is coming out with that water pipe attached. It fits very snugly. Alrighty, got the new one put on here. We got our screw down on the base here. That's fun, hitting those holes. And did come across one other thing I'm going to have to do. Remember, on the other one up here, I had a regular hose clamp on here, and I took that off, and then I was just able to unscrew the valve from here. But I've got an issue here because, pardon me, that this will not screw onto that thread. So I'm going to have to take that PEX hose off, pull this out, reattach it, and I'll put a hose clamp on here so I can work with this thing in the future. And then I don't have to worry about the damn PEX clamp. Ooh, pardon my French. Okay, lesson learned here. You see the hose coming off right there. I was able to cut that with a knife, and the reason is, remember how I took the other one off? I took the valve off and then unscrewed it. That's because of this little fitting right here. so I can screw it onto the back. I'll push it into the hose down there and use a hose clamp. Otherwise, it had to take that whole valve off. Alrighty, so got her all together. We'll check for leaks in a bit. I'll turn on the water. One thing I'm going to do is on the underside of this ring right here, on the underside, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of silicone grease so it works okay. We'll check for leaks and the flush and cross our fingers. Well, the first time we tried turning on the water, I didn't quite have this this turned on, tightened up enough. So I just had it hand tight. So I did take a pair of pliers and just go a little tighter, and now the water's holding okay. So first flush, let's see how this baby works. Oh. We have water. We have closure. And that's it. I ain't gonna lie. That was not easy. I got short arms trying to reach around that thing, hold a pipe, reach in on this side and do screws, and that little set screw in the back of that valve was a bummer. So it was not all that easy. And of course I had to run to Eloy to get that PEX crimp cut off. They didn't have a valve that I showed you that screwed into the back of that hose. So the guy in the back went in the back and he was able to just saw that little crimp off, and it fit fine. But all done, and we'll continue to enjoy our Dometic 300 for another 4 years, I hope. That's how long this one went. Thousands of flushes. Thanks, guys. Hope this helped.